So I am now mostly through chapter 1 of Rime of the Frostmaiden. And if I had to go back and do it again, there's a few things that I would do that I've already done that worked really well, and a few things I would probably change. And I wanted to offer that up as some advice before I dig into the prep for today's Rime of the Frostmaiden game. The first is starting off in Bryn Shander turned out to be a really good way to go, and I highly recommend it. I've talked to other DMs who have run in other towns, and they try to tell you in the adventure that you can sort of run from any town, but then people are getting killed all the time. And most of the adventures and quests going around in 10 towns are deadly to first level characters. I think there's like maybe 2 or 3 that aren't deadly. Almost all the rest are deadly to first level characters. And the way you get around that is the one in Bryn Shander, which is actually their recommended town in the book. They say if you don't want to choose randomly, choose Bryn Shander. And I agree, just choose Bryn Shander. The quest there is doable for first level characters as long as they don't get involved with the polar bears and as long as they don't get involved with the goblin boss. It should be fine. It's a good, fun quest. It's a good way to get started. And as soon as they're done with that one, they hit second level, and now they're in a better place to be able to handle the other adventures that are going on in it. So I would say start off from Bryn Shander. 2, which is different than how I did it, and I wish I had done it this way, is you can stay loose with the quests and just keep a rotation of 3 quests going at any given time. So once they've completed the quest in Bryn Shander, you can give them a couple of other quests from the rumors set, right? There's a big, in the book, there's a big set of the rumors of the 10 towns. Just pick a couple of the ones for nearby towns. So you might have the one in Goodmead. You might have the one in Bremen. Pick a couple that are nearby. And then when they go and they do that one, you can replace that one with one of the other ones from one of the other adjacent towns. So that every time they go to a town and they complete a quest, they sort of get the ones from the neighboring town or towns, until they've started to pick them all up. And I try to keep about 3 in rotation. If you have more than 3, it becomes hard to remember them all. And they'll go for this like completionist, you have to complete them all. The other thing I'd recommend doing is have quests die off. So once they've done a few other quests, it's okay to pull some of them out and be like, hey, that weird sea monster in Bremen, yeah, that went away. Or, hey, you remember they were asking for help to try to find the expedition to Kelvin's Cairn in Targos? Yeah, they're dead. Right? And that way you can kind of pull out quests, unless you say that there's certain quests that you really want to have happen, in which case keep that quest going. So keep a rotation of 3 quests, stay loose with the quests, and give them the quests that for adjacent neighboring towns when they're completing them. Then the other one is the one thing that this adventure does really well. It has lots of open areas for your own content. Your own adventures. So and feel free to kind of slide in your own adventures as you do. One of the things that I did, it's a change that I made that has worked very well, and I'm very happy with it, is that it isn't the town speakers who are organizing the sacrifices to Auril. It is the cult of Auril. It is the cult of the Frostmaiden. I refer to them as the children of Auril. And it's this group of followers of Auril who have sort of infiltrated, they've sprouted up in all of the towns and convinced many of the town people that if they want to survive the Endless Night, they have to make sacrifices to Auril. And it creates an interesting political tension because you have the speakers versus the children of Auril in any given town, and lots of avenues for like going down into weird cult dungeons and finding things down there. So integrating the children of Auril is a fun way to go. There's a supplement written by Sam Dillon about the cult of Auril that you can pick up on the DM's Guild. That has a lot of interesting info, or you can sort of make up your own. I ended up making it up on my own. It wasn't, it doesn't take a lot of work to throw a cult fanatic into a game. And that made for a fun added thing. It meant that there was less moral ambiguity dealing with the speakers, because you're like, why would I work for the speakers if they're murdering their own citizens, right? So it's easier to work that way. And then last, feel free to tune the quests as you're running them, or as you're prepping them to suit you and your desires, and maybe the level of the characters. An example of that is changing out the winter wolves with dire wolves in Hold Up. Like if you have winter wolves, 2 winter wolves are really, really hard at like tier 1. But if you change them out dire wolves, it becomes a lot more manageable. So there's little tweaks that you can make in order to sort of tune the adventure around the way you want to go. So I find that very useful. This video, by the way, is brought to you by the patrons of Sly Flourish. You can become a patron of Sly Flourish by going to patreon.com/SlyFlourish and signing up. Patrons help pay for all of the materials that I need for the show, bandwidth, server costs, little tools that I need to kind of keep everything managed that have license costs every month. patrons of Sly Flourish are footing that bill and making all of this possible. Patrons also get access to a bunch of exclusive content, including 2 exclusive adventures and access to 2 PDFs. One of Sly Flourish's Uncovered Secrets, a bunch of rule supplements that make it easier to run 5th edition games, and Sly Flourish's Adventure Generators, a group of 1-page random sets of tables built around a theme that help you generate inspiration for your own games. So for the patrons of Sly Flourish, thank you very much for signing up. So yeah, so let's talk about my game and where things have gone. Now that I've gotten through the tips, which I'm hoping are useful. Last game, I need a drink of water. So last game was a big one. This was where the characters, the beginning of the game, the characters had left the House of the Triad after discovering that the children of Oral were bleeding a demon and drinking the blood and then churning into these weird demon frost cult hybrid things. And it was really terrible. They were essentially bringing in new members into the cult and then just sacrificing them. And so the party went down there. They fought all these guys. They faced the primary leader of the Children of Oral named Father Lake. They killed the demon, which got free, of course. They killed the cultists. They got a book that turned out that Father Lake's information wasn't coming from Father Lake's information wasn't coming from Oral, but from a elder evil called Thrune, which is this whole sort of other angle I'm adding in based on the standing stones of Thrune around Dugan's Hole. There's a lot of interesting stuff going on there. So the characters made their way out of the House of the Triad and found a huge crowd had gathered. A bunch of town folk were there saying, "What's going on in here?" And a bunch of the town guard were there trying to keep order. And in the audience were all kinds of different people, including Ilda, one of the characters, her parents, who are like the Malfoys, and are themselves high-ranking members of the Children of Oral. They were there too. And so there was all this like interesting tension. And I said, like, let's just put more people in there. Let's show the assassins that are hunting Shadowhawk. Let's put the assassins who are hunting Perrin. Let's put, I wondered, like, almost every character had like somebody in the audience there that was freaking them out, right? And it was all this stuff going on, and all the like people, they're trying to convince the group there that everything's fine, and that, look, the Children of Oral were actually murdering people and how terrible that was, and all this kind of stuff, right? And, I thought that was, it worked out, right? It built this tremendous, and the tension between Ilda and her parents, and she's like screaming at them that they're members of the church, and they're trying to be like, we're not, and they kept saying like, hey, like, we just own the property. A bunch of squatters came in here. That wasn't our responsibility. And there was a lot of like back and forth. They met with the sheriff, who's like, well, at least you got rid of the Children of Oral. We've always been worried about those guys. So, so there's lots of weird tension. And then they went back and they're like, what are we going to do now? So they ended up getting the one of the things is that Ilda's parents signed the lease for the House of the Triad and gave it to the characters and said, it's yours now. And they're like, great. And they're like, yeah, but you got to clean up like 50,000 gallons of demon blood. And they're like, oh man, who do we call for that? And the guy's like, well, this is one of those demon blood jobs that you got here. This is I don't know. That's we're going to have to swab that all out. We're going to have to clean it. There's the disposal fees for demon blood. You can't just throw it in the river, right? You got to get rid of it, And so now they're like, oh man, we got to pay all these people. And they came up with money and stuff like that. I think they paid a couple $100 gold up front to start to get the place restored. So they're starting to restore the House of the Triad and turn it into their own. Oh, they're turning into a Bryn Shander Community Center. So it's actually going to be a community center for the whole community. And they're kind of like building their own, like, everybody else would be nice. And they created BSCC cloaks, nice thick cloaks. They paid for those. So the Bryn Shander Community Center cloaks, where they, so that town folk are warm, and they know that because of being warm, it's rotting the baseboards and lumber pieces are skyrocketing right now. Exactly. There's all kinds of like problems. So And they got a special deal, of course, because you always get a special deal when you're working with contractors, because they got rid of the Children of Oral. So then they're like, oh, wow, we got all these things we're going to do. And they started going off on like businesses, right? They were starting to do the Acquisitions Incorporated business thing. And then I was like, they meet with their patron who's like, yeah, there's also that problem with the white moose. And they're like, oh yeah, adventuring, you know, like, oh, we could do that too. We could go on adventures, you know. And it was a bit of a shocking transition to go from this big monumental getting rid of the Children of Oral and dealing with Ilda's parents and learning that assassins are everywhere and getting a new place to build up and you know, setting up all these infrastructures, to then going back to doing quests, right? But they got it. And I remember one of the players was like, oh yeah, quests, we should go on quests, right? So so that was kind of a fun and wacky transition. So that took most of the time. And then they got everything together. They set like, okay, our home is going to be built while we're gone. And it's like the last third of The Hobbit where they have to do politics and paperwork. Exactly. So they, tell me I started recording. Yeah, I started recording. Good. I was like, oh my God. So they, what did they do? So then they gathered everything up and said, okay, well, let's go up north. Oh, they said, we got this whole problem with Torgs, right? We know that somebody in Torgs is murdering people, and we're going to go figure that out. So they headed up and they went into Targos. And I was a little ham-fisted with integrating like the Zhentarim of Targos. And I think that could be a place. Oh, hi, Mom. Everybody say hi to Mom. So that they wanted to, I wanted to kind of integrate that, like Targos is a sinister place, but they were like, well, I think we're just passing through. But they ended up at the bar in Targos. And so I think that's going to be where the strong start is today. We're going to generate a new session planning template as we do. And today is 18 April 2021. So it's interesting because my other group killed Sefik Caltro before they went after the Children of Oral, and this is the other way around. So it could be, I don't know, it's going to be interesting. So I think that we're going to have sinister folk meet the characters. And those sinister folk are going to be the speaker, NPCs. Where are they? These guys. Scath. I think I reversed these. I think I got these mixed up. But I like the idea that Nerith is a tiefling and Scath is human. So we're gonna stick with that. So Nerith and Scath are gonna show up. They're gonna show up at the let's see, sources. Why am I doing this? I've got a link that goes right to it. So we're going to go to Targos, and the inn in Targos is called, is that the Luskan Arms? The tavern, the Three Flags Sailing Tavern. And we'll link to that because I think this Three Flags Sailing. Let's see. I guess we'll just link to Targos. I don't think it's got an anchor. Does it? No. Oof. Pollen, man. So Nerith and Scath. So Scath works for Nerith. Nerith is the town speaker. He's also secretly, thank you. He's also secretly a Zhentarim agent. And Nerith and Scath are going to show up. Everyone's afraid. Or behind them. You know, he's got a bunch of toughs with him. And he's going to sit down and have a conversation with the characters. And so some of the secrets and clues are that that we're going to add to this strong start is that down in Goodmead, we have the slimy guy, Shandar Froth, right? Is Shandar Froth? Yeah, there's Shandar. So, Shandar Froth works for Nerith. Both of them work for the Zhentarim. Nerith wants Orus, Oarus. The town, Orus Matthew is the town speaker for Tourmaline. I never spelled Tourmaline right. Is that how it's spelled? No, it's spelled Tourmaline. T-R-M-A-L-A-I-N-E. I think I had it spelled right. Orus Master, the town speaker of Tourmaline, under his thumb. He wants control of the gemstone trade in 10 towns. Nerith is not happy with Duvessa. Oh, come on. Or T-Town. And wants her deposed. So he's trying to take over the north, right? He wants control over 10 towns. He's using this opportunity to get rid of things. There was a murder here in Targos. Does Targos do a sacrifice? Let's take a look at Targos and see what they do for. So Targos, the sacrifice to Oro is humanoid. So they hold lotteries, right? And there was when someone paid off, when someone tried to, their token from the lottery. Is there another way that they could have cheated at the lottery? How else would they cheat at the lottery? Maybe they fled or they hid, tried to hide after their token was pulled by the local matron of the children of Oral. So I already used bribery and Bryn Shander. I wanted to use a different one. The children of Oral in Targos are actual children, orphans. Do I have a so we'll have a mother. Mother. Maybe we'll create a card for her. And I need a name. Mother who? Mother Nora Ice Hunter. That's pretty good. Ice something else. Ice Toes, Ice Hand, Ice Hand. Nora Ice Hand. And we create a new page, and we create it in the Frostmaiden database. Mother Midnight. That's a little sinister. Maybe they call her Mother Midnight. Mother Nora Icehand is an NPC and a villain. Known also as Mother Midnight. The Zents probably call her Mother Midnight, and they don't care. And she is the matron of the what? The something. The Knight's Blessing Orphanage. That's cool. What was the what was the Fantastic Beasts? Who was the woman? Mary Lou Barebone. I think she is the... That's her. Perfect, right? So she is the leader of the Children of Oral in Targos. And in her case, they are literally children. She believes adults have already given their souls to the wrong gods and believes only children can truly open themselves up to the cold embrace of the Frostmaiden. She met with... That's a secret. She met with Sefik when he came through Targos. No, she of course thinks that her soul is open to the Frostmaiden. Of course, she understands the Frostmaiden. It's everyone else that's screwed up. Hypocrisy is part of the game. So, Mother lay herself prone in front of the Torg's caravan as it passed out of Targos, along with all of her children. I have forgotten to review the characters. So let's review the characters. So we have Ilda. Ilda is also known as Josephine, Jacqueline Millicent. And she is worried. So they read some stuff in the book that there would be that a child, that she believes herself to be a child of Thrun. But I think more likely Lena had a tryst with a Goliath 20 years ago, 18 years ago. she made Aemon believe that she became pregnant at the Standing Stones of Thrune. That's a little weird. I don't know. I think it's okay. So the Melicians, the Melicians believe that let's see. Believe that Ilda is a child of Thrune. But really, she's not. She's just a normal child. I started skipping the characters already. So Ilda is a half Goliath, half elf barbarian who is the disgruntled daughter of two corrupt rich people, the Melicians. And she, so she just had a confrontation with them, screamed at them, ran upstairs, opened a door, fell on the bed, and realized she was in the wrong room. And a guy is standing there like shaving while she's in there, and he's like, "Should I go?" And he like went downstairs, and I'll go get you a glass of water and some peanuts. And he came back. He went away, and then yeah. So they've now left. But yeah, I think I was too heavy-handed with the idea that she is like a child of, like a divine child of an elder evil. When the reality is she's just a normal child. She's not connected to Thrune. That'd be weird. So yeah, Shadowhawk is a drow. He is from Menzoberranzan. He found out that there's a group of drow assassins known as Knight's Kiss. Let's find some cool images for drow assassins. That's pretty cool. I think we said it was two women. That's pretty cool. Oh, yeah. That'll do. That'll do nicely. Get our NPC set there. So the Knight's Kiss is going after him. I don't know when they are going to. Maybe it's time, like on the path where some of the assassins of Knight's Kiss will attack. That's probably not bad. We could have a two-wave attack. That'd be hardcore. So I think like scene-wise. Okay, so we're gonna have Targos, and then the road to Tourmaline, and on the road to Tourmaline, where it will have a let's get a fantastic monument here. So we go down to, where is my monuments? Icewind Dale monuments, and then obsidian spiked well of Oral. That's kind of cool. I like the obsidian spiked well of Oral. Yeah, sure. So location wise, we have the obsidian spiked well of Oral, right? At the spiked well of Oral, the characters are attacked first by toughs hired by Gygas and Shakar. No, not Shark. Shakar Ballard. Hunting for Candle. And then a Drow hit squad hired by Knights or ordered by Knights. A two-wave fight. That's going to be a big fight. Two angles. So we'll get into that. And then they arrive at Tourmaline. And then Torgs is there. So let's see. Torgs. Currently in Tourmaline. On their way to Lonelywood. And then we have the what's the quest in Tourmaline? Boy, you know, like I'm throwing, you can see where I'm throwing in a lot of my own stuff. But that's cool. Beautiful Mine. I must enjoy prepping stuff because I'm throwing a lot of my own nonsense in these adventures, aren't I? But that's cool. One thing I feel about Frostmaiden in particular, I think it does a good job of giving you room to add in a lot of your own stuff. I think it's a loosely written adventure, and that looseness lets you add in a lot of things without disrupting what's in there. It's not this heavily plotted adventure, and I think that's a powerful style. I think that's good. My big complaint is that they don't handle first level well, and that you should be stronger handed with like do this quest and get him to second level before these other things. And there's a little bit of other tweaky bits that I feel it has, errors that it's got. But generally speaking, it might be a bit bland, and that's why you add so much flavor. It's not bland. It's fine. Like, it's interesting on its own. It's got little bits that I don't like, but everybody's got little bits. And the question are the bits I don't like. Like if you take me and Sam Dillon, we're treating it very differently. We're adding different stuff. So I think, and both of us are happy. So I think it's cool. I think I was overly critical of this adventure, and I like it better than I thought. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I got one more secret to drop out in the way. Is there a secret about the mine? Half of the guards half of the town guard at Tourmaline are actually loyal to Nerith. And Nerith isn't beyond murder as a tool to get to increase his power and influence. All right, we got a big pile of secrets. Location, we have the obsidian spiked well of Oral. The other location we should pay attention to is the inn in Targos. Is that interesting? We should fill that out. 3 facts saying fishes come here a long day or a bowl of stew and a quick pint before heading to bed. The atmosphere is subdued. The fish are cold and tired and unsure. Tavern is run by a plump gray-haired widow named Ethan Yarbowl, better known as Ma. She fusses over the fishes as if they are her children. Characters who hang out in the tavern are likely to hear a rumor or two. So 3 Flags Sailing is a fantastic location above there. And then we have tourmaline. So that works. Cyber Colossus, yes. All of these are posted to YouTube, so you can enjoy them however you desire. There are hundreds of them on YouTube. So we've got our locations. I don't really need more than that. I think that's plenty of setting. NPCs. Well, I've been linking the hell out of Nerith. So we have Nerith. We have Scath. We have Mother, whose name I already forgot. Mother Nora Icehand. We have Gygas and Shakar. Whoops. We have the, who are the Drow? The Knight's Kiss. And we have, I think Lena might try to visit her daughter along this path. So those are good. I'm solid there. Monsters. What monsters are going to have? So we have Drow. I can link to these. There is a new feature, by the way. Let's do it for funsies. If I go to My Campaigns and I go to my Sunday game and view campaign, one of the options that I have, which apparently you can't, I don't know where it went. I screwed up my window really bad, didn't I? The problem is it doesn't fit. Oh, hang on. It doesn't give me the options, I don't think. Somehow this page does not. Let's try the other one. See if I can do it in the other window. This page might be a little wider and a little bit better. Collections, campaigns, view campaign. Yeah, where's the button? Like, see, the buttons disappear. Well, and so it's going to be a little off screen. Sorry. We'll go back here. Go to my notes, and I can create an encounter here. I think that's cut off. Yeah, it's cut off pretty bad, isn't it? Let's see if I can smush it back down now. That's a little bit better. So I'm going to create a new encounter. So we'll say 18 April monsters. So I'm not going to create them in one encounter. I'm going to just get a list of monsters together and put them in a thing so that I can keep the stats handy. So number of characters, manage characters. I need to increase, let's see, view sheet. I guess they're still level 3. My other group leveled up already. So one of my players doesn't use D&D Beyond, so I have a stub sheet just for keeping track of this thing. It didn't work. Oh, whatever. That's weird. So it worked here. Let me try this again. Manage characters, and we will kill it. And then we will switch back to Sunday. Didn't work. Okay, whatever. Doesn't matter that much anyway. 18 April 2021. Monsters. Save the encounter. Edit. So, drow. So we have some regular drow. Regular drow are CR 1/4. So we're probably going to have 8 of these guys. Right? 8 drow would be pretty. Maybe 6 drow. Did that go in? Yeah. Okay. So we've got 8 drow. Is there any other cool drow? Like, do they have a drow leader? A drow. Is there a drow elite? Maybe they will add a drow elite warrior. So we'll have one really powerful drow. What does a drow elite warrior look like? What? That's not right. A drow elite warrior has 71 hit points, AC 18, lots of spell casting. Ooh, poison damage. 17 damage on an attack. Whoa. Vicious. That's pretty tough. But I think that might be okay. That's a lot of damage. Yeah, I think we'll skip the elite warrior. I think the elite warrior is one of the members of the Knight's Kiss is an elite warrior. So I think it's like an elite warrior and the mage, right? The drow mage. Look, you can roll on them now. 40 hit points. Go away, dice. So that's probably who Knight's Kiss is. But I think we're just going to throw regular drow. And then we have our good old thugs. And we're going to add, and probably there's 5 thugs that jump the characters. Or maybe we'll do, these are locals hired by, we'll have 2. I did this for the other group too. 2 thugs and some bandits. I love me some thugs and bandits. And we'll have 6 of these guys. They were hired by the other group. Maybe as many as 8. 6 is probably. Let's see. How are they on area attacks? We'll go with 8. So that's interesting. It still says it's just a hard fight. It is not a deadly fight, even though it is 6 plus 8 is 14, 16 monsters that I'm going to be throwing at them at once. So that is good. Do I have any other monsters that I'm going to throw their way? Do they have any pets with them? I don't think so. I think that's probably good. You could always have spiders, right? Like summon spiders. What are some good spiders? Fiendish giant spider from out of the abyss. Giant wolf spiders. Giant spiders. We'll add a couple of giant spiders just for fun. Add some funness. Now it's deadly. Now we're good. So I save that encounter. So now I've got it, and I think I can click on any one of these, and it lets me roll the stuff on them. I can go, oh, let me roll an attack roll. 7 to hit, misses. That's lame. Oh my god, look at these terrible rolls. Whoa, can't roll anything good. Oh my god. Get all these bad rolls out. Look at how bad these rolls are. There we go. 24 to hit and does 11 points of damage plus, oh boy, 22 damage. So you can now roll attack rolls from the encounter builder, which is a cool feature and makes it worth sort of keeping there. Now the key is I don't think these will not show up to the players. I don't think they're still working on that. So it's not really great yet because it's behind the screen, and it'd be nicer if it rolled directly in chat. But whatever. So I got my monsters. Oops. But I also like rolling physical dice. So why am I even bothering all this? Bothering with it to try it out. So I linked to that. So now I can just go bink, and it goes right to my monster list. That's kind of handy. Keeps the stat blocks all handy. So I got monsters for today. What about treasure? Do the drow have anything? Did they pick up any interesting relics? So who needs a magic item? Let's go back and look at the characters again. And so I think Ilda has a magic sword. She's got a +1 greatsword. She's good for a little bit. And I don't think she told me about any magic items that she's particularly interested in. Shadowhawk has got bracers of defense, so he's good. He's also got that griffin egg. Auken Dawncaller is a fighter with an axe. He has Boots of the Winterlands, but he wants all the basics. He would like a magic weapon, magic armor, magic shield, all that stuff. I think he fights with a great axe. He fights with a battle axe, so it wouldn't be bad to give him something. Another one of those magical glyphs that can enchant a weapon would be pretty cool. What if we took a trinket? Let's look at trinkets. Frostmaiden, Icewind Dale, relics. I like things that let you do a spell once a day. Crusaders Mantle, invisibility. What does Crusaders Mantle do? So here's a fun trick. If you look for spells that don't get used very often, like there are certain spells that people are like, yeah, that's just not worth memorizing. It's not worth, holy power radiates from me in an aura, the 3rd level spell. Awaken boldness for friendly creatures until a spell on the aura moves with you. Centered well in the aura, a non-hostile creature deals an extra d4 radiant damage when it hits with a weapon attack. That's pretty cool. Lasts for 1 minute, once a day. Crusaders Mantle. Is that too powerful? Is that too powerful as a daily spell? Radiance. I'm thinking of changing it to lightning damage. What I'm thinking of doing is having it like a Storm Giant rune, right? And it's a Storm Giant rune, and you can put it on a weapon or piece of armor, and it makes the weapon or piece of armor magical and requires attunement, and would give it a +1 bonus. And then once per day, you can cast the spell Crusader's Mantle, right? As though you're casting it. It's still concentration. I think that might be pretty cool. I think that it'd be a boss magic item, and it helps other people, which is kind of cool. And what does it add? It's going to add 2 damage to each attack. It's a lot of extra damage. And it's an action to activate it. That's a good point. Yeah. That's fair. You're right. Okay, so we're going to do that. We're going to have I'm going to add this to the treasure list. Whether or not it gets you know, whether they receive it or not. I lost my notes. Whether or not they receive it or not is a different question, but it's a good idea. So we'll have a rune, the Storm Giant. Add +1 to a weapon or piece of armor and makes it magical. Once per long, it can cast this spell. A creature attuned to this item can use an action to cast the spell. Crusaders Mantle. Like that. This spell replacing radiant damage with lightning damage. This ability resets, this feature resets at the next dawn. Dawn is in quotes because there is no dawn. That's pretty good. That'd be a good item. Multiple characters might be interested in that. It's really designed for it's kind of designed for Aachen, but anybody could use it. Gore, parent, anybody. It would be good for anybody. So I think that that's solid. All fonts within a 30-foot radius become bold. Yes. I don't know where they'll get that. Yeah, could the drow have it? Maybe. It could be an artifact they picked up. I don't know what it would be. So that is the treasure. Now we clean up my scratch pad so that it's all ready for my game. Whoops. I've got my little marching order list, which I also use for my one-dimensional battle map. I've got my alias for Avre for initiative. And I'm all set. So I think I've got plenty. The bottom of the well. That's a great idea. Yeah. Perfect. Good idea. Illuminated Nick, you get the thumbs up for the day. That's a great idea. I think I got all I need. I got piles of NPCs. I got monsters. I got interesting places. I've got lots of cool things to happen. I got a strong start. I got piles of secrets. I am all set for today's game. I feel confident. I feel good about it. And I am ready to go. I would like to thank everybody for coming today. It is always a great pleasure to hang out with you guys while I prepare my D&D game. I hope you found today's show interesting. And next week, we will get together, see how things went. And we will go on from there. So have a great day and get out there and play some D&D.